okay. We're talking about the game that you don't need a brain to play. Pokemon Legends ZA.
No, you need. What is it? I don't know. It says on the back. Like
Basic reading
basic reading
ability.
abilities needed.
You don't need a brain to read.
You
Clearly,
don't?
not. You're taking this too literally.
All right. So welcome to the Safe State podcast. Today we are talking about Pokemon Legends ZA. Only about a few months late, but
But that's not the point.
that's not the point.
If assuming this comes out when it should, Pokemon Day is right around the corner.
Pokemon Day's today.
Yes. Assuming this comes out when it should.
Yeah, they will.
So we thought, what's a better way to talk about and celebrate Pokemon Day than talk about the most recent Pokemon game?
Talk about the best Pokemon game ever made.
At least one of the best that's been made in a while.
Pokemon Legends CA.
Did you forget the name of the game?
I was thinking to the most recent Pokemon game release, which is technically Fire Red and Leaf Green now, at least because it got re-released. So I was sitting here.
That doesn't count.
I kept thinking Fire Red Leaf Green. I'm like, no, I don't want to say that. No, like, what's the actual most recent Pokemon game?
Let's talk about that for a quick minute. Just because
that's a fun little opener. Let's talk about the real best Pokemon game.
Fire. So this is definitely mirroring what they did for Pokemon's 20th anniversary, where they released Red, Blue, and Yellow on the 3DS eShop.
How much were those?
I think they were like... correct me if I'm wrong. I bought one, and I want to say it was like $15, $10.
I'm gonna double check that, but
I think it was right. It might have been $30. I don't think it was anything more than 30. It's been such a long time since I've looked at that, but... No, I think it's interesting that we're jumping to Fire Red and Leaf Green for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
I'm of two minds. I know we kind of briefly talked about this at one point. I don't know if it was on the podcast, but just the thought of like I like the fact that they're re-releasing it and it's not just on NSO, because that's in theory a game that you have and can keep forever and play. Versus online service that could go away in 10 years' time, like that sort of thing. But it's also like it feels so small. Like I could see them releasing like all the Gen 3 games and like either in one package or just individually like that. I feel like that would have been made a bit more sense. Not that this doesn't make sense. It does, but it's like it feels like they didn't go far enough for this to really hit hard. Because otherwise, I would just say just put it on the...
To me, this feels like you bring up the thing like, oh, like it's the Nintendo Switch Online service when it goes down. That's a fair point, but to me, it's the same thing as like when they released it on the 3DS. If they ever stop, I think Nintendo's at the point now they're going to be like PlayStation, Xbox. Like if you bought a game on the PS3, you can if it's compatible on PS5, you can download it.
Yeah.
And pretty much any game you'd care about, except for like I don't know, like SpongeBob's Boat and Bash, you could get on PS3 on modern Xbox, all that. And they're finally starting to do that with Switch and Switch 2, and their plans appear to keep eShop, it's why they're changing the Nintendo Online, not Nintendo Switch Online, all that stuff. But it's that thing where I feel like they're almost in this weird middle ground. It's like, oh yeah, we released them, but like there's all these real quirks, like it has no online capabilities. It's $20 each. There's like 6 versions based on the language for some reason, and
I feel like you could have made that one thing.
Oh yeah, like this is my other issue. If we would have had this on the Game Boy Advance app in this case, we would have all the save state features, the rewind, the online link. There was a link cable because you could play. There was a link cable support on there, and there's games that is it the Starfy games? I believe they pretty much have how in Pokemon there's like you go to a separate room. And there's a trading card thing in Starfy. Pretty much the same system, so like we know it works. It worked with Amazing Mirror, Four Swords. Like they have that figured out, and they've always said there'll be no online capability to this game.
Well, it's just
which like fine, but again, like
it just makes a whole part of the game like you can't complete the Pokédex.
Yeah.
Whatsoever in any of those games now, because you have to have trade evolution.
The only way you can, because it did say there was local. So if you buy a copy of each game, you can.
but not online.
But yeah, which is
I guess at least there's a way to do it, but again, that's
like now you're saying you have to pay $40 to get what, like to get Kangaskhan Kong or whatever, like
yeah.
And like I'm already kind of like I do own the games, so I am, and I don't definitely get the perspective of do I want to spend $20 or $100 on these games? I understand that perspective, but from my even with that, even as someone who's had those games, and like is and would be the kind of person to double dip a lot when they do these releases. Like talking to the man who owns like 3 copies of Split Fiction, like I'm no stranger to that. I'm kind of sitting and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to buy this. Like, part of me wants to, part of me kind of like,
it's interesting too, because I really do wonder who this is for, because for all intents and purposes, anyone who's wanted to play this game has. Like, it's not...
I feel like it's more for the new generation.
Maybe, but like, I feel like you're not appealing to... Like, I will go on record and say Fire Red Leaf Green, one of the best Pokemon games to play, especially the original, like...
Yeah, it's the best way to play the Kanto game.
Yes, absolutely. Unless, like, if you want that true Kanto experience, like, I know Heart Gold and Soul Silver is nice too, because you can go to Kanto in those games, but that's more Gen 2.
Yeah.
Like, that's a more extension of that. But anyways, I'm very curious to see how well this does, because maybe I'll be shocked. Well, I won't be shocked, and, like, it'll do great because anything Pokemon does great, but it's just so... It's very easy to play this game. I won't say specifically how easy it is, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I feel like most people have played this game through that.
Well, there's plenty of ways to play the Kanto games, even officially. Like, the original Game Boy cartridges aren't that expensive. Like, Blue Red.
They're pretty expensive for what they are.
I don't look at them. I see them at, like... I find them at thrift stores fairly often. I see them at... They're, I think they're common enough to where maybe if you go to, like, a retro game store, they jack the price up a bit, but, like, I have my copy of Red, I bought it probably about a year ago for $20. I don't know, same prices, but also that's a physical 30-year-old retro game.
Yeah.
There's difference between that and we took the ROM off of that and was selling to you for $20 with no enhancements. And I'm not asking for a full-on like $60 remake, but it's still just a thing like
the online features would have been nice. Or if you're just that adamant about online, just make a way to like get the Pokemon to complete the Pokedex.
I know might be a way to do it. We just don't know. But at least
if they didn't change anything about the game,
I know the game size is literally like 20 megabytes.
Yeah.
Or maybe not that low, but it's like 40. It's like literally like super teeny tiny. My biggest thing I think is just the price. I'm like $20. Like,
how many bones for that is crazy.
Like, this is the same price you can buy. Like, heck, even, honestly, I was looking on Facebook Marketplace today. I saw someone. I didn't realize it's not like the cream of the crop Nintendo games, but I was just looking at Switch games on Facebook Marketplace and Macari. I saw Mario Luigi Mothership. I saw Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I saw Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. Like I saw several lists of a bunch of. I would see them more like not like Tears of the Kingdom, but for the Wild Mario Odysseys. More your B, C tier Nintendo games, but still quality games for $20-$25.
Right.
And if you go to the white game stores, you might be able to find these for that price too. And I'm like, I feel like I'd rather buy this, or I'd rather give my kid even if I'm saying buying this to my kid. $20, that's a year of Nintendo Switch Online.
Right.
I'd rather just like you don't get this one Pokemon game. Go play Pokemon Stadium. I don't know. Like that's another thing. One of the reasons I know people are hoping for the Game Boy support on NSO, so we could do the Pokemon Stadium, where you can be able to. The whole appeal of that game was, you get to play your Pokemon in 3D on the big screen.
Right.
And now they're pretty much telling us we're never going to be able to play Pokemon Stadium as intended. Which I'm so glad it's there for like all the other modes and stuff. But, like the main mode of Pokemon Stadium is not available to play.
It's just I want them to decide what they want to do, because for the 40th anniversary, if we're getting like, I don't know, they remake Let's Go
and Let's Go.
Like,
no, they don't remake it, they just port it.
Yeah, they just like
$20.
I really hope
it'll be $30 then, I guess.
I really hope that's not their main plan in the future. And I know, like, I'm pretty sure we talked about this on the podcast, but like, again, I feel like a collection of even just the Gen 3 games would have been nice. But it's also the thing of like, granted, at least they did something. Like, at least they technically gave us a way to play the game. So it's like
it's something like I know I'm talking about this and like kind of bashing it, but similar to like the Galaxy 1 and 2 collection.
It feels very similar to
that. My point is, I'm probably gonna buy this for my nephew.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be, because like if I gave him my Game Boy Advance and all my Game Boy games, he wouldn't care. But if I'm like, oh, here's a new Pokemon game on your thing, and I'd rather buy him that, because he's never played he knows the Pokemon, he loves the trading cards in the show, but he's never played a Pokemon game.
Right.
And I wouldn't want to give him one of the big new ones just because I feel like it's a little still too much for him. I think starting off with something simpler for someone his age would help. But here, and it's only $20. If you don't like it, okay, it was $20, whatever.
But anyways, what we did want to focus on today was not telling the Pokemon company they did a bad job, but they did a good job this time.
They did I would say they did a great job.
They did good.
So we're talking about Pokemon Legends ZA, and this was a game that I was very when it got announced, what, nearly 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while
I
ago.
was really excited. Kalos is coming back. My personal favorite generation. So this is like feeding my nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting Kalos back, getting Mega Evolutions back, and the more we saw this game, me personally, I got more excited. Um, in the big thing I think that threw a lot of people off was, oh, this all take place in one city. And there was a lot of concerns about that.
I wish, granted, I think in hindsight it's more obvious that that's what it was, but when they first revealed it, they definitely weren't like super open about
Yeah.
like, oh, this will just be in
Granted,
Luminos. Like,
that first teaser was a teaser. The
yes,
first time we got a trailer of it, they were clear, like, this is what it is.
they
So, like,
were a little bit.
granted, we sat on that teaser for about a year, so that didn't help. But it's one of those things. I'm like, I'll give y'all a bit of a grace. It didn't. It wasn't like it showed like a map of Kalos. It was showing just Luminos. But no, we got I guess ultimately to get to the point. I was cautiously optimistic about the idea, but I always had this feeling in the back of my mind. I'm like, I feel like the easy way out was to pretty much just copy paste what you did with Arceus and just have 6 or so different biomes. I'm sure there's like an ice biome in Kalos and all that. Get you different biomes. Pretty much do the same thing, just Kalos themed.
Right.
The fact that they were trying to be so experimental on the second Legends game, I was like, I feel like they have a good idea here. That or they're crazy.
I think
Maybe a little bit of both.
I think now going forward, having played both Arceus and Zygarde, or I guess it's not Zygarde, it's ZA, but
Yeah, it's,
I'm just I think this is definitely going to be their series where they can stray away from the traditional like going into whatever they do next. I've heard a lot about a Legends Galar potentially being announced sometime soon. Don't know the validity of that, but for another potential Legends game, I don't think it'll be that similar to Legends ZA or Arceus. I think they have ways they are similar, but they're very different.
I think the main connection is going to be that real-time battle gameplay.
Maybe.
Well, because like Legends Arceus dipped his toes into that real time where you can move your trainer around, you can kind of move your Pokemon around, and then with ZA they fully like, okay, let's fully commit to this.
I think it's probably going to be a bit more refined in the future.
Yeah,
for different titles.
I think it's going to continue. I think this. I don't think they're going to do turn-based in the next game. I think let the main series game be the turn-based games. Because that's one of the things I like about how the combat is in this game. It feels like it stands a lot more less as a fun little one-time spin-off and more as this is this version of Pokemon's gameplay. And I feel like you're going to see that in the next. That's what the difference between this and Arceus is to me. Where I feel like this series has found its footing, where it's going to the Legend series will be its own thing.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm so glad that they did a sequel so quickly. Like what? I guess 5 years after the 4 years after Arceus came out. So not like immediately, but you could tell they're like, oh, we have something here. They didn't sit here and wait on. They probably started developing this game pretty quickly after Arceus was done.
And I do love Pokemon remakes, and I would like to see at least like, I don't know, the original 10, I guess, or 9, get the proper like remakes like we've had in the past. But if Pokemon was just like, okay, instead of doing remakes, we just want to focus on like Legends ZA, like Legend style games, is like sort of remakes where it's like not a one-to-one recreation, but definitely a game that is a love letter to a certain region, certain game mechanics from that. Like I love that this takes place in Lumios because I played X and Y, and Lumios was cool. It was very like, it was a pretty like plot important area, and it was like, I love the gym there. It was a fun area to explore, but it felt very empty. And anyone who's played the game knows, like, a lot of times you would try to go into, like, an alleyway and it would be like, oh, this is closed due to blackouts. Like, the game naturally just, like, okay, you can't go through every part of the city, but, like, in its Pokemon way. But I loved seeing, like, a fully realized Lumios.
Yeah.
And I think while I was definitely a little hesitant at the beginning, like, oh, this is just taking place in Lumios, because that was my, like, if you watch the anime, you would probably be a bit more hyped. Like, that was your only exposure to, like, the idea of a Lumios city, because it's an anime. They can explore the city. They can like
Yeah.
spend time there. Whereas in a game, especially a game like X and Y, where there's a lot that game is good. I love X and Y. It has its own problems. It
Hmm.
definitely feels a bit rushed in areas. Lumios being one of them, but I like that they dialed and they focused. Okay, how can we make this a unique city that feels like it's
Yeah.
lived in?
That's obviously that's for me. There was so many times that I streamed this whole game on it was actually the fourth was it the fourth game I streamed on Joey's Game Room? I think so. I thought
First, like long term one.
in the start of the 101 game challenge, I think it was. I
Mm.
know we did the Pikmin stream and the Mario Party stream, but
Yeah, I think you're
I
right.
think going to 2026 is the fourth game I played. Um but no, yeah, playing this game, you can watch all my streams there. And playing through it, I constantly kept saying, like, this city feels alive. I loved interacting with the NPCs, the people. If you see me play any RPG, I really don't care for side content RPGs. Even, like, Thousand Year Door, I have never truly 100% that game. I love Thousand Year Door. But, like, even, again, more recently, I've been playing through Bowser's Inside Story, another RPG. Whenever there's a section where like you have to talk to side characters in an RPG, I always groan. I'm
Mm.
like, no, just let me just go to the next story thing. Let
Hmm.
me fast forward, But this is a game like I want more. I
Yeah.
keep wanting more. Like, in again, I have not 100% this game, but I probably did about 70 of the side missions. I think there's 100.
You definitely did a lot more than I did.
I did because I was just having so much fun. I was having so much fun with this game. I would stream it, finish with like a 5 hour stream, play the game for another like 2 hours on my
Hmm.
own, wake up the next morning, play it for like another hour, and then like I would stream it, then like a day or two later I'll do the next stream.
Hmm.
Like I had to restrain myself from like solely streaming this game.
It
It because it
it
just felt so alive.
I didn't stream it in any way, but I definitely was like there's a solid week where you lent me the game and I like started playing it where I was just like dialed in to playing it like
Yeah.
pretty much like I'm one that I play games every once in a while. I will have like a period of like maybe 4 or 5 days where I just don't play anything.
Mhm.
When I find that game that I really want to play, I
Yeah.
will like play it until
It's
it's done.
it's a rarity I find a game and I'm like I can't put it down.
Yeah.
I'm very much trying to post. It's why, like, if you look on, like, again, my gaming channel, I think right now I'm bouncing between 5 different games.
Hmm.
And I know this upcoming week, I plan to add in another game to that. Just because it's like how I like to play games. I like
Yeah.
bouncing between different things. But every once in a while, I know a game like Legend CA, like Gravity Rush, it just comes and it just grabs you. And you're
Hmm.
just like, you can't stop playing it. The only reason why I didn't play more was just because I wanted to let Thomas play
Yeah.
it. I really and once I get that copy back, honestly, I'll probably go back through, beat all the side missions. I plan to 100% the game, like truly, truly 100%, and get all the bolts, get all the
Hmm.
canary plushes, whatever other stuff you could do in the game. I
Hmm.
don't know because I've not done any of the post game, but I want to see more of it. And I want to talk about the story of this game.
Hmm.
I I love the story of this game. I think it is. I feel like as someone who has probably played about half, maybe like 60% of the mainline Pokemon games, I'll say I can, and I know I have it. I know like Black and White Pale has like a really good story.
Hmm.
I know Sun and Moon Pale also has a really good story. But even just from what I've played this game and what I've played this, I feel like I could confidently say this is probably my favorite Pokemon story, and I feel like it is the best one. Just like period. The story is so strong. Every character is likable. There's not a single character in this game, minor or big, that I'm like, I don't want to deal with you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to do a
Unless
mission
that's
with you.
intended.
Wait,
There are few characters
even
who
like
I
Janseath, even horror, it was like, yeah, like, does she annoy you? Yes, but like in the kind of way where it's fun.
yeah.
And like you're not like, she never reaches that line where you're actually like upset.
Yeah, like you groan because you're
Yeah.
tired and you mash through the dialogue like you don't care sort of thing.
I read all I this again. This is a game. Again, I know my anti-points that I'll mash through, especially a lot of like extra dialogue.
Hmm.
I read through like even like small text, And it's part of the reason why I started playing the game more on my own, because a lot of my streams would just be me reading through so much text.
All the lore.
Because it was just so much cool stuff. Even something as small as like right, if you talk to certain people, the guy you help get his apartment back from the ghost Pokemon with the West Syndicate, you could go back there. There's no mission there, but you could go back there. You could go back 2 other times, and they're slowly building back up that apartment. And by the end of the game, that apartment is
like fully
like refurbished. I'm like, that's so cool. And that's like, literally, you have no reason to go back there. He doesn't give you any items. There's no side mission. Maybe there's something in post game I don't know about. But in terms of the main campaign, there isn't. And there's so many little things like that. You have what's the Fist of Justice? I can't remember her name, but the girl you fight at the very beginning of the game, who's from the Fist of Justice, who's like one of the random students.
Yeah.
She has a little subplot of her slowly wanting to get better. You do fight her again when you go to the dojo itself for the main mission. But after that, if you keep following her, eventually, it's right before the end game, she has a side mission where you get to fight her one last time. All of her Pokemon are fully evolved. She has a full team of 6 now. I think at the start of the game she had a team of 2 or 3. And it's just like just so, again, it's the city feels lived in. It feels alive. Even stuff like you can see, like, I would never forget Panpour. Is that the water's name? There was a mission we need to get all 3 of them. And I got Pansage and the green one. Oh no, Pansage is the green one. And the I got the green and the red one pretty quickly. But for a while I couldn't find Panpour. Eventually it's like, yeah, whatever. Probably like a week
Panseer.
Thank you.
I was like, I know the name of that Pokemon.
But like a week later I completely forgot about the mission, but it's still in the back of my mind. And eventually, I'm walking around, I look up at tree, I'm like, oh, it's a Panpour. I'm like, that's cute. And I just got used to seeing different Pokemon. I kept walking, I'm like, wait a minute. I need that. And I went back, and I saw it. It literally jumped from one tree to another. And like, I didn't think about all this in the moment. I was like, no, I'm like, oh no, now it's in that tree. And I'm like, come on. And I missed the Pokeball. Eventually I catch it. But just feeling I've always felt so immersed in this world to the point, I don't know. I feel like I'm talking a lot. I need to let you talk a bit.
Well, it's something that, especially more recently with how Sword and Shield came out, and I don't think that's a bad game. It was just, it has the pleasure of being the first Pokemon game on a Switch console.
To me, that game feels like we got a 3DS game, and we made it look really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's why I know I was disappointed by it.
And then you have Scarlet and Violet, where great ideas, questionable execution in some areas, not just in terms of graphics. I think how that game connects its various threads, I just think it's so much for a game, and it does it all right, but I think I see in different spots where you could connect things better. You can make things feel more lived, and it's why, as much as I think they deserve the criticism sometimes, Game Freak, I do cringe whenever like I hear someone rant about like, oh, they're such a lazy developers, or they're bad developers. Like, I understand when people say that, and I completely, like, it's completely valid. Like, there are parts in those games where it's genuinely like unacceptable to push it out, and whether that's their own problems or Pokemon community or Pokemon Company or Nintendo, or like all their higher ups basically pushing them to like get out this game because it's Pokemon. It's the most popular media franchise ever, but I think when they are genuinely able to give a game their all, to put all of their focus without having to worry about pumping out the next game, without having to worry about shoehorning something in, like just focusing on one thing and making it shine, they are really, really great. Like,
well, I'd say like the game hasn't come out yet, but like look at like Beast of Reincarnation. Yeah, game that I would say that's probably the game they've had the longest development time before.
I'm very curious to see how that game will turn out.
I will say, it was at the state of play, they announced it's coming to PS5.
Nice.
So I'm like, yes, screw you once again, Xbox. I know they're funding it, but I'm so glad it's coming to PS5. But anyhow, but like, look at that game. That's a game that's been in development since I believe 2019 or 2020. So 6 years. By the time it comes out, it'll be 6 years. like look like hopefully that game meant to be as fun and beautiful as it looks, but like that game looks so impressive. And it's like this studio is a talented
They
studio.
have a lot of heart, and they're genuinely like. This is probably one of the funnier Pokemon games I've played in a while too, because like the writing in this game, while it's like it's Pokemon RPG writing, like it's meant for a younger demographic, but there are times where
Yeah,
it's like, okay, that was a genuinely great like time joke. I thought it was very
there's a
funny.
lot. Pretty much every line that comes out of Ivor's mouth,
Yeah.
basically. I love when he's like the constant one in joke of when it's him, and Emma. And he constantly like, what if I just punch? And I know it's just like it's like Knuckles. It's like, oh, big strong man punch good.
Mhm.
But like I feel like there's enough depth to his character.
He's just so wholesome. Like
He's wholesome.
he genuinely wants to do the right thing. I think
Yeah.
Knuckles is sort of like a hothead sometimes. He just wants to punch because
Yeah.
but Ivor is just literally like, no, I know the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Like it's such great
Genuinely, every
characterization.
character in this game, and there's like 12 of them that go through an arc.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much every champion you go against in the later half of the game, your team members and Team MZ,
Mm-hmm.
you get to see them all go through an arc, and like some get more attention than others. Like I think Tarny probably gets the most attention. She like enlists you to like community service. That's what I was going to say, because it's like all of a sudden it's like some reason she's just like, oh yeah, you're gonna help me do this. You're gonna help me do that. Did you know? You know, at the beginning of the game, after you do the 4 stuff and you have the 3 starters,
Mm-hmm.
you know you can walk up to that Pancham and choose that as your starter.
Really?
I did not know that. But I found out, my stream chat told me, I picked, I already knew I was picking Tepig, like, since the announcement. So I immediately went and picked him, and my chat's like, no, you should have picked Pancham. I'm like, wait, you could pick him? And like, nope. He's like, they're like, yeah, like, no one knows that. And I'm like, he's kind of like, I guess, like the Pikachu of that game.
That is interesting.
But that's because he's not in front with the 3, but he's still there. Because that's why, if you notice, when you pick one of your starters, it goes back to that Pancham, and the Pancham runs off to its trainer, and then they leave. That's why it focuses on him one more time. I'm like, that's really neat.
Yeah.
Also, I love my boy Tepig. I love Tepig. I love my Unova. I love Unova's Pokemon so much, but the character. I think that's like you said, the characters, the writing's so good. I cared about I during the final fight with Tawny, I was like, I know I have to win the fight because I'm playing a video game, but if the game gave me the choice, I would have thrown the fight. I wanted to throw that fight so badly.
Something that in it's not everyone, but a lot of the more plot important fights in Sun and Moon, like particularly ones where you're going up against Lusamine, you can fail, like just not win the fight, and you can still progress through the story. Like it's more a counter where you can like completely black out, story goes on, like, and I like that. It feels more real to the moment. That's like cool. I won't spoil too much in that story, but like you're fighting just something that's way out of your league, and like you try your best, but even you can't like get it. Like I like those moments because it humbles the player a little bit. I
love when RPGs do that.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I actually do wish that ZA did that more, because I
don't think there's ever a time
I don't know if there's ever a time. I never really experienced it where it was like that sort of thing, but I would love to see that more, especially during that fight in particular. Like that would have been very neat.
I do really like the moment of like she's just like, she is so hard-headed.
She's just, nope, I'm gonna do it anyway.
And she's like, no, I'm gonna do it my own way. And I'm like, that's like an end game chill moment for me.
Yeah.
I know that's probably kind of like corny to say, but like that was a moment I was like, yes. Like if I was watching the movie theater, I feel like the crowd would have erupted. Like, yeah, like you go, girl. Like screw the main character. Like that was like that one of those moments, and that whole final sequence where you had your bloody like, I compared it to the end of Sonic Adventure 2, where all of a sudden all these opposing groups just come together. And like I remember in my head I had the if I play the song you probably recognize because it's used in a lot of YouTube videos, but it was like the song that plays when they're making a plan to like stop the arc from crashing in, and like I was like, holy crap! Like I got this big mean, everyone's coming together, and you literally go around the entire city.
Yeah, I thought that was really neat too.
And then the two Team Flare people, the Neo Flare people come at the very end. because you can, if you, before you start that string of missions, you can walk around the full bubble of the tower, and I did that because you're like, oh, there's still some people out there, and there's like a few random NPCs, but they are still at the food truck, and they I forget exactly what they say, but it says something like, of like, yeah, like, we already failed, we're done, we're not getting involved with this anymore. So I'm like, dang, I'm like, is that really? I'm like, I guess they did just get a huge spotlight on them right before the end.
Yeah.
So I guess I fully accepted it, like, okay, like, they're done. But then I was like, wait a minute, I'm like, and then you had that moment, I think it's a bunch of rogue megas come, and then they come in and out, especially reading that optional dialogue, really built that up for me.
Yeah.
Of like, oh, like, they did come back. Like, I thought they were like, kind of like, screw you. And I was like, that's sick. There's so many.
I'm glad that they didn't boil. Like, I'm glad they have their moment of like, oh, we've been living, like, we've been, like, people hate us because we're previous Team Flare, like,
Well, they were like born into it.
yeah, or like, yeah, they were in it when it was not a terrible thing. It kind of became that sort of thing. I like that they kind of get their redemption and they're not just like, oh, evil. Like, they weren't, oh yeah, we're gonna restart Team, like, they kind of were like that for like a second, and then it was like,
I think they thread that line very well.
No, it was done very well.
There was a lot of moments, maybe not in the main city itself, but a lot of the story moments. They want voice acting so bad in these games. I don't know who is not letting them do voice acting in Pokemon games. And like, Scarlet and Violet mainly only had the part at the start where it's a big speech at the start of the school year, and Professor Toro's big speech at the end where it's like, you didn't press A to go through the dialogue. You could tell, like, and their mouths are going with the words.
Yeah,
there's lip syncing. But this game, probably about every time I stream the game, there was at least one moment where it's like, you're not hitting A to go through the boxes and stuff, and it looks sick, but it's also like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, all I can think is, why is there no voice acting?
We need voice acting.
And like I look at a series like Fire Emblem, which doesn't make nearly as much money, and probably is about as story heavy as or dialogue heavy, I'll say, as Pokemon games, and those have voice acting for all the cutscenes and every tiny little NPC. I don't think we need that. Like, I think it would be cool. Pokemon Earth has the money for it, but we don't need to have go to the random, like, the slowpoke guy, and he's like, oh, like, yeah, I'm from Alola, and like he does. I don't need that. I think that'd be nice. Cool.
Yeah.
But at the very least, if just all the story main missions had voice acted,
even if it's just in cutscene, like, that would
go a long way.
Like, more something like Breath of the Wild, where they have like voices technically, and they like say things, but only in cutscene they speak. Like, that could totally be passable.
I think it let them. You can see how far they want to push the cutscenes in this game. This game is really well done.
They do look very good.
They are really well done. It was someone in my chat compared to the Sonic 06. Specifically how the cutscenes look really good in 06.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, no, just talk about how, like, man, like, these cutscenes look really good, and it's like, this is crazy. Like, it's like you go from the main game to this, but then it's just like, but then you go back to like the normal dialogue, and it's like, oh. And no, not the regular dialogue.
I wonder if it's just like, Pokemon is translated into a lot of different countries. Like, you have English and Japanese, obviously, but like, there are a lot. But I can't imagine that finding voice actors and recording for the whole game.
So Fire Emblem has the same amount of languages as Pokemon does.
Yeah,
I think because I know they just added like 2 new languages. I don't know if I think it's like a variation of Spanish they added.
Yeah,
I don't know if Fire Emblem has that, but like all Nintendo games for a while had the same standard 9 that I think I think Pokemon's now like 11 or something. So they might not have those 2, but like, again, if Fire Emblem could do it, I don't know.
It just feels like a weird hurdle. Like, heck, you could even get like the people who dub for the
anime.
The anime, like, I'm sure you could add to their contract just like, oh, do these lines for, like, I know it's not that. That's simple.
What they do with Sonic.
Yeah,
like when they were doing Boom, and they did that in all languages. So whoever was doing the games was.
It definitely feels
just comparing voice.
It feels like a weird hurdle that we've not quite jumped up through for Pokemon yet, and I would like to see it.
The only reason why I bring it up is just because you get like those lip syncing.
They want it. It's like the developers want it.
They
so
really
badly.
want it. So it's just a thing. If the cutscenes are still like how they were in Sword and Shield, still like cinematic, but like not with like full on lip syncing. I wouldn't focus on it, but it's just there's these moments where it takes you out of it just a little
awkward.
bit.
It's very awkward.
And you pretty much said anything I would want to say of the graphics. I will say there was two moments the graphics did take me out of it. One was, I don't know why, and I wasn't specifically trying to look at this building in detail, but for some reason it was just randomly in gameplay. I think it was in an alleyway, so like it's this tight space.
Yeah.
And I happened to be looking at the building next to me, and I'm like, those are supposed to be balconies, but there was a flat balcony texture on top of the flat window texture, and it's like, we couldn't just have a small little guardrail pop up, like, and it's something that like I end up like one day, like I went out of my way to look at all the textures one day just to like, this is after I beat the game, so like I do want to really look at these just because out of curiosity, like I already love this game, I don't care. And it was a thing like, yeah, there's a lot of just like there's like 2D potted plants pasted on top of window. I'm not saying I don't need fully detailed like, oh, I can see the ridges of the bricks. But if you're gonna have a balcony,
I feel like it would be.
You need to have the balcony pop out.
Yeah, like make a default balcony and just like.
And then if it's copy and pasted from there,
no, like copy paste it, change the color. Like you can do a lot with changing the color or texture or something. It being the same exact thing, but just looking different. But
and then the other time was, it was near the back of the map. I think it was like zone 15 or whatever, where there was a rooftop section in that area to get one of the Pokemon. And after I did that, I saw where there was like item, and I went like, that section is literally one on the edge of the map. And I went it's the zone that has Beedrill in it. But I went on the roof, and I went to the roof, one more roof out of the zone, and I just happened to find myself looking out past Lumino City. And I know that they can't do the thing they were doing like Paldea was this ocean because it's landlocked, and I get that, but you see, it looks like they literally grabbed the grass texture that looks, I think, pretty good. But imagine that, and they didn't make it a higher resolution; they just swetched it. I mean, swetched it over some of the most blandest hills that literally have like 4 tree, like full. Like I have a big 4K HDR 70-inch TV screen. And you see 4 trees across that whole screen. And it's just like, you don't see buildings in the distance. And I don't need to see buildings in the distance. Like, just filled out with a bunch of, and they could be like 2D image trees because you're too far away to know if there's. Right. And I will say the few trees out there were 3D. I sat there long enough and looked at it. But I remember I don't know which stream it is, but it's on one of the streams. And then, again, you rarely look out there. But the fact that there was a wild zone there, and that exit of a wild zone has the camera look that way, it's only one time it happened, but it is a thing of like, can you just took in a brush and just go tree? Or
just completely whited it out, like don't even show anything beyond it.
Yeah,
like,
or do the N64 fog.
Right, and it's like, that would have been like, it would have been weird, but it'd been understandable.
There's no fog, and this game has no fog, and that's very impressive. It helps that there's so many buildings. Obviously, the whole city's not loaded in at once, but the buildings block what, if you're on a rolling hill, you wouldn't see otherwise. But those hills also go out so far; they're not like big jagged hills. It is literally rolling hills for a while.
That's maybe the one other complaint I had about this game, and it's more with transportation, like getting around, like being able to like automatically fly without like needing a TM or anything like that. That's pretty nice. That's something that's kind of become a bit more standard with Pokemon games. But just like, there's sometimes where I just want to like ride around the city. Like I like doing that in Pokemon games, especially games where it feels more active, more alive. Yeah, I would have loved like something like Let's Go where you can just like, I don't know, you fly on Charizard and it's like you get like, you don't really move much faster or anything, but you're just there.
Actually, I just thought about this. This could have been a great time to bring back the bike.
Yeah, I feel like the bike would have been cool.
That would have been a really good fit. And I will say, I personally never felt that. I always really enjoyed just moving around. I feel like I never like, there were several times I would rather, I would have to go to the other side of the city, and I would rather run all the way there and like look at, and I may not even catch Pokemon. I might not even sometimes I wouldn't even go for the Mega Shards. I would just walk and just take in the environment and the people and the Pokemon and just very live and breathe the city.
Yeah.
I started doing that less and less on stream because I realized how much time it was taking up. But on my own time, I would rarely warp. Just walking around and really feeling like you're living the city. I do want to talk about the amount of clothes are in this game.
Yeah, the customization is neat.
As someone who loves Scarlet and Violet and played a lot of that game, I don't feel like there was nearly as much cosmetics as there was in this game. There was a good amount in that game.
It's so strange too because Sun and Moon had a lot. X and Y was the start of that. Like the first game you could really customize. Well, because
it was France, and that's enough like fashion.
Yeah, Sun and Moon have a lot. Sword and Shield have a ton. Like there's tons of customization, and then Scarlet and Violet is just like you can't change out of the uniform. It's just like a few things.
There's like one outfit in each, or like one set of accessories at each town.
It's very strange.
Didn't care.
Yeah.
But in this game, there was an overwhelming amount. Well, I kept finding myself just stumbling to shopping malls.
Yeah.
But I probably spent over 2 million Pokebucks on clothes. I kept one of my motivations to keep doing the what were they called? The ZA Royale was not to rank up. I would have maxed out on my ticket, and I would have to do more main missions so I could do my next competitor. No, I would sit there and do like 3 more. I kept sitting on the bench and grind for cash. And like I would be upset if like, oh, I was one away from getting like the 3x multiplier. I got to the point I would regularly get the 3x multiplier, turn around, drop all that money in the freaking thing in the shops, and I was just I was looking through different outfits I had. I had my main one that was like a blue and yellow like leather jacket. Pants, I had a belt, I had so many different bags. I had the full set of Badoo gloves because they had like 16 colors. I had all these different hats. I had to eventually get to buy the fancy clothes for the Jan Steve stuff. I literally bought that whole store because that was the store I kept going to. I'm like, I don't know how you get in here, but I'm going to get in here one day. And eventually I found out like, oh, this is a story mission. And I bought like the trench coat. And, like whenever it rained, I put on the trench coat.
The trench coat is really neat.
I had a full different. I had that, and I had another rain jacket outfit that I would switch between. I had so many hats, and I love that. So you can't buy belts on their own, for example, but you can put on a pair of pants, and if there's a belt that's compatible with that, you can take a belt from a different outfit. Which is really cool. So if you want to mix, so like a lot of times, whatever pants belt combo I have for my main fit, I did not like the belt that came with it. But I found a different pair of pants. I didn't care for the pants, but I liked the belt. Bought that, and I was able to switch it in. And I was like, the amount of customization that you do is so cool.
Again, this is a Pokemon game. This isn't like a fashion game. Like
this isn't an Infinity Nikki.
The fact that this was as in depth and like. Even me, like, I'm usually, like, I find one outfit and then I stick with it for the whole game. But even me, I went through all of them at least a few times, and I had a few different outfits, and it's, like, it's such a nice thing to have. It makes you feel more like yourself when you can choose whatever outfit.
I did eventually, like, the kind of one I described as the main outfit I landed on. A big part of that, though, was I wish you could make sets of clothes. For how much clothes are in the game, there's no presets. Even if it's like, I don't know, like 3. Like, nothing crazy, even like just a handful. Because having to constantly go through and like find the pants and then find the specific belt. And also, like, again, I'm doing this on Sweeb. So, like, I'm not trying to waste people's time by so much. But it's just that thing where it's just like, man, like, this kind of sucks. And so I eventually, like, my trench coat outfit, I just made where I just put on the trench coat. I used to have, like, different pants I put on, shoes. I stopped doing that just because I was like, well, it takes so much time to fully design my outfit again. I wish there was, like, in a lot of games with costumes, even Mario Odyssey is just short in pants, so they don't have it, but, what is it? Sonic Frontiers has that. And I think Sonic Colors Ultimate does too, and that has like 4 or 5 things you can change. This game has more like 10 different pieces of your outfit, and to have presets would be nice. And I'm hopefully, I hope the amount of customization I have for you to train on this game is in Gen 10.
I really think they should just take, like, not the exact same outfits, but just like amount of variation, amount of
Yeah.
like just
Well, heck,
customization.
if that's some of the more like unique outfits are like unique to Kalos, don't take those over. But like the trench coat, what are you gonna change with the trench coat
Yeah,
model?
like there are a
Like,
few things you could
and
totally take.
if this them Control C Control V in means we get that, then who
At least
cares?
at least all the hair and like
Especially the
that
hair.
stuff,
The
like
hair
that
is
you
so
can just
cool.
take and put in the next game.
Yeah, I've always the type where it's like I never really cared that there was like this stigmatism against reusing assets.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the way I see it's like if it's going to be able to save them the time to develop other stuff, like especially as a come from a Sonic fan where they look like a lot of the textures that they use in the Death Egg from Sonic Forces, they reuse in Cyberspace and Frontiers, and fans hate that for some reason. And I'm like, y'all
Well,
really want them to spend the time to make another reflective metal texture?
the audience didn't see it, but last week we talked about Smash Brothers. It's an episode you'll see soon, so
Yeah.
spoilers. But during that we talked about
The Echo Fighters.
a lot of the Echo Fighters which are like simpler, like pretty much copy the same abilities, character like look whatever of a different fighter are in there just to have them. Like why not include them?
Yeah, but like it's because it's either you would have got. It's not that Dr. Mario did not take a slot.
Right.
Either you got Dr. Mario or you get
didn't.
nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like why not have Dr. Mario, Lucina?
You get Dr. Mario or you get nothing.
Nothing.
You choose.
Same with Pichu. It's why you have clone characters because it's like, yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Toon Link and Young Link, like they're very, I've always, I don't know, I've always
Especially if it means okay, Pokemon can Game Freak can focus more on like nailing a game mechanic, making the game look great,
giving
like
the battles more animation.
right.
I will say this, not fully what I wanted to be yet, but I could tell that they put a lot more time into the battle animations in this game.
Mhm.
I think it helps that it's the real time battle, so you kind of have to have that more dynamic vibe. But I could tell they put a lot more into it. There is still a lot more of like you use Hyper Beam, and some Pokemon when they use Hyper Beam, it doesn't look as good as it looks on others.
Yeah.
You could tell they made it look good more. Like Dazzling Gleam looks really good with Gardevoir.
Which is like signature move.
Yeah, which makes sense. On Delphox, it looks okay.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell where it's like, they didn't like, but it's whatever. That does bring me to kind of wrap this up. What was your team? What was the main team you had?
The main team I had, I did swap it a little bit towards the end, but for the most part, I went with Chikorita, so I had Meganium. I tried to get and this wasn't hard because they included a lot of them in this game, but I tried to have all Pokemon that could Mega Evolve on my team.
Yeah.
So I had Meganium, which you get Meganium thing. Fire type was Charizard when you talked in the lab with
You got the
Mabel.
Charmander.
I got the Charmander
Yeah.
because I like Charizard. What can I say? And I already had Meganium, so I couldn't pick Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
But I had a Gyarados. I had freaking it's the same one you had, the
Talonflame?
No, the electric type.
Oh, Ampharos.
Yes, I had Ampharos, the Salamence.
Oh yeah.
I threw in a Salamence here and there. I had a few other Pokemon. I think I also had a Garchomp at one point too.
Yeah.
A lot of the alpha Pokemon. Which
Yeah.
were just
I ended up getting a
strong
Garchomp pretty late. I don't remember what I named him. So something I do whenever I play Pokemon games, I name every Pokemon I catch. With this game, I still did that, but I kind of, when there was missions like, oh, catch like 100 ground types, I kind of stopped doing that. Normally in Pokemon, I don't, I'll catch one of each Pokemon, I move on. Because of missions like that, I did catch multiple. I normally never let any Pokemon out of my box. This, I did do that.
You also brought up something that this is more of a nitpick than anything else, because I did complete the Pokédex in this game, like fully completely,
Yeah.
without any of the DLC stuff, but that's its own beast. I will say I like the missions for the Pokédex, like Mabel's missions or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I like that it's there to encourage you to like catch Pokemon or do other things. I wish that it was structured that when you like fully completed the Pokédex, you finished all the missions and you didn't have to just catch it. Like, I get why you have to catch like, oh, just like catch 50 ice types. Like, that's fair. There's not 50 unique ice types in the game, and there doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
but I I that was something where I was a lot less I was that's kind of killed my motivation to like finish all of that stuff and get like the shiny charm and like that sort of
Yeah.
thing, because it's like I really don't want to spend forever finding dark types and like catching them whatever, because that's more grindy to me, like.
Yeah. For me, it helps that, like I said, I always walk through environments. I didn't teleport that often. So I was like, oh, like, I know I need more dog types. And I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I don't remember which area had dog types in, but it was say it's Area 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I could walk around with Area 7, but let me walk through Area 7. And I would just throw Pokeballs and stuff as I walk through it. And then once I got to the end, I was like, oh, okay, I got 5 more added. And I found myself just organically doing a lot of them. I know I didn't finish all of the Mabel's research, but I think I have like 3 left, and they're all like at the final stage. It's like I only need like 10 more. But I also think I put a lot more hours into the game than you did.
Yeah, you definitely did.
Granted, it's also my copy, so I know you weren't trying to keep it for too long, but I would say this is more just a Nintendo thing. I bought the Switch 2 edition, and the Switch 2 edition works on the Nintendo Switch. Which is really cool.
I wish they talked about it more often, which they won't, because
Yeah.
it's not good for sales. But it's I'm glad that it's there.
Something, if you know you're gonna buy, I guess either of you for some reason find the Switch 2 edition for a good deal for any Switch 2 edition game, pick it up.
It'll
or
work.
if you know you're gonna get the Switch 2 version at some point, it is $10 more. So that's the thing. Like, if you were gonna buy a personal copy and just say you're not planning to get a Switch 2, you might as well just buy the Switch version, because you can also buy the upgrade pack for $10 on the eShop if you have the original copy. So it's more just there to have a retail presence for the Switch 2. And I'm sure the further we go, the less we're gonna see of this.
Probably.
But
also more people will adapt to the Switch 2 at some point.
Like, it's already sold 17 million units, and probably is at 20 million at this point. I wouldn't be shocked. That's a whole nother topic at some point, but we can switch to sales. But to talk about my team real quick to wrap up this episode. I had quite the family. I ended up naming a box called The Family. And I do not remember them all, because that box is almost fully filled. But they give some honorable mentions. I had Dewey, my Badoo, who I entered into the contests and won. I had Frank the Barnacle. Is that how you pronounce it? I always forget how you pronounce it.
It's
Barbacle or whatever.
Yeah, Barbacle, that's what it is.
Barbacle, who he was just for the longest time he was just I need to use 3 water type moves in the ZA Royale, and he would die, and then I would revive him, he would die again. But eventually he actually came in clutch for when I had to go against the Neo Flame people. He had a slow redemption arc. Gosh, I had other ones. I had Champ, which is the Walt I got from the mystery gift, or the coupon code that was in it was a coupon code.
Yeah.
In my box, and they actually took a while for me to level up all the way. Shockingly, I really sat on them for a while, but I was like, I know, I love Gardevoir. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. So eventually they got all the way up.
I also got that.
Oh, did you?
I knew.
Oh, that's right. It's a pre-order bonus.
Yes.
Or the nowadays pre-order bonus like first 2 months. I think now if you try to redeem it, it won't be there. So I think it went up to January. But obviously Champ, I have that. I had Animaria, who was my Ampharos, which was the very first Mareep I caught in Zone 1. So one of the very first Pokemon I caught made it all the way. Rogue, who was my Absol, which was the Rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon that you catch, and I was like, because it was a story moment, I was like, I really want to keep you my team. It doesn't feel right to not keep you my team. And Rogue pretty much stayed the whole time. Talonflame, which what did I name Talonflame? Oh, Mighty Eagle.
Oh yeah,
that's why, because Mighty Eagle and Leonard. But Mighty Eagle, who unfortunately kind of ended up getting. I did bring him to the final battle, but they ended up getting shelved a lot. One, because I unintentionally, at one point my team had 5 fire types. I never consider myself a fan of fire types. I think I do like fire types. I was like, I actually like a lot of fire types. That's interesting. I had Denny, my Charizard. I did get a full fire type team at some point, just because I was like, I'll be a fire type trainer. Why not? But I did get a more varied team. I had that. Delafox, which I named Serena, because
Hmm.
that was the Fennekin you get from you find the sick Fennekin.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I have emotional connection to you. I gotta keep you. And then Leonard, who of course is my starter. I never take my starter out of my party, no matter what. In any like
Depends on how good they are.
no, like I just it breaks my heart. You like if Ash threw away Pikachu in a bot in the computer, like you would cry. You can't get rid of
Yeah,
your
but there's no
starter.
there's no boxes, computer boxes in Pokemon. They're just on a ranch somewhere. Like Ash's herd of Tauros that he has.
I guess, but I don't know. I've never like I don't know. I've always had a strong connection to my starter. I can't think of a time I was like, man, like I feel like I'm dragging this starter around personally. But I've always I don't know. But no, that was my main team though. I think going into the final battle, I might change up a bit, but no, it was I near the very end I got a Tyranitar that I named Hope
Mm.
because going against the Neo guys Charizard kept destroying me, so I needed a rock type, and I pumped him with so much candy. And I did like 5 ZA Royales with him just to try to level him up. And I named the Larvitar. It was not the Mega Tyranitar you can catch. It was just a random Larvitar I found in the wild. I found on a rooftop, not even in a zone, just on a rooftop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm gonna name you Hope. That's why. So I started naming my Pokemon when I was gonna bring them into my team. Either a level up, evolve for the Pokédex for my Living Dex. Because I found again naming that one Hope, it had more meaning than just Frank. As funny, I love Frank, but it was also like, man, like and that's why I think I'm gonna do that when Gen 10 comes out at the end of this year, probably. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna name the starter. I'll probably name when I first get it.
Mm-hmm.
But other Pokemon, I think I'm gonna wait till like, oh, like this is your name.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, again, like, and I will say in the Zygarde fight, also don't really have time to talk about it, but the final fight was awesome. Probably one of the best final fights in a Pokemon game, just how dynamic it is.
I love this would be the one thing I say about it because I won't get too into the knit and grit, but towards the end you talk to Lysander L, who is also great redemption of that
Really
character.
cool character.
But he basically makes a connection to Zygarde, saying like, "Oh, the special moves that Zygarde was doing, those kind of similar to Z moves from Alola, weren't they?" Basically, like tying
Huh.
together the lore of Poke. You haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, but I must have missed that.
I didn't want to spoil it too much,
Okay, I
but
get
I
you.
wanted to call it out because I think it's really neat that they remembered
There's a lot of
Xenos.
this is the one of the first Pokemon games where it really feels like the regions aren't separated.
Yeah, they don't exist in like a bubble outside of whatever's going
Yeah,
on.
this
Like this
feels
feels like an interconnected world.
yeah, like it feels like this is a really lived in world. Like they bring up Hisui, a couple of times, which makes sense because that was the previous Legends
The
game.
dude's the professor guy's portrait is in that apartment.
Yeah, you have that. You see Detective Looker. His
Yes,
portrait is with
yes. You see Sycamore too.
Sycamore with Mimi, who's
Yes.
the best Pokemon in the whole game.
Mimi is
I
great.
love Mimi. Mimi's so cute. Poor Tim. That was I think I've told this story before, but I caught a Esport right before I first met Mimi, and it's when I was starting to get burnt out on names. And I was like, I don't care. Like, what's his name? You bloody Tim. Who cares? And then I was like, oh, and there's a show. I'm like, oh my gosh, Mimi, you're so cute. I love you, Mimi. I'm like, oh my gosh. And someone in my chat just goes like, man, like screw Tim. Am I white? And poor Tim just got like, and
Sidelined.
that immediately, but that moment I was like, yep, Tim's going in the family box now just because of that. You have that one neglected family member. But no, that final fight with Zygarde's so cool. And during that fight, why was I brought it up? Hope ended up being my last. All five, my other five all got knocked out, and Hope was my last one alive. And literally, I think it's at like 10 health. Because whenever I play Pokemon games, I'm always under leveled because I'm always just I don't like training I don't train my Pokemon at all. I do like Ash does. You just do the main plot, and somehow your Pokemon powerful enough to beat the final battle. Even though it probably shouldn't be. I think it's why I always my final streams of Pokemon games I always struggle so much, and it's always such like it feels like I'm like pushing the boulder up a hill, but it makes it feel so satisfying. It's not like oh they're all level 100, they're all gonna crush them. I just barely make it through. It makes it feel so climactic.
Yeah.
And that final thing where I did it, and then Zygarde comes in and does, I don't know, I don't remember what it's called, like Perfect Order. No, that's the name of the trading card set that's about to come out. But the one of the final moves called, and he does that. It's like, yes! It just feels like you're commanding a bloody Gundam, and it's so cool.
It was very cool.
Is it his Mega? Okay, I don't want to. So the next week's episode is like almost 2 hours long, so I want this one to be fairly short. All the Mega Evolution designs are so cool in this game.
They really
There's
are.
not a single one that I'm like, this is a bad design.
There are some that are meant to be like
Silly.
goofy,
Like
and then there's some that are
Starmine.
like
I
that
love
one.
this freaking
And
Patrick.
then there are some that are meant to be like really, really cool, like this is epic. I'm 14 and this is edgy.
God,
freaking
Delafox's
Yeah.
Mega Evolution, where she just becomes a freaking witch. I
Yeah.
love like witches and wizards. Like as someone like loves like Agatha all along the show and stuff. I love like in short, it being always one of my favorite starters, and then she just whips out this broom and she's soaring around on it. I'm just like, that's so cool.
To wrap this up with a little bow, I think we're both of the mindset of there are a lot of really, really good things in this Pokemon game.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, this game isn't perfect. It does have its shortcomings in areas, but for the most part, this restored my faith that Game Freak knows what they're doing. Not that I never thought they didn't, but it's just like, it's nice to have a win, to have a game that you don't have to like force yourself to play through. Like, again, literally get so wrapped up into it's all you can think about and play for like a solid week. Like, I want to see more of this from Pokemon going forward. I have really high hopes for Gen 10. I hope they take this like steam and keep running with it. Like,
hopefully.
You know,
I feel like starting with Arceus and then Paldea and now this game, you've seen a slow rise. And I think this game ended up being a bit more of like a spike for me. And I'm like, okay, but this game also had much more development time. Gen 10 has even more development time. And it's the core team, so I'm like, come on. Like, I think Gen 10, and if what we've seen in those leaks is actually what we get, what we see in that test footage, this game graphically is going to make people happy. We just needed to be gameplay fun.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I'm worried about, because I never want, I prefer real-time RPGs like how Arceus is, and I just like it. I do think there's a place for the more traditional turn-based RPGs, and I do enjoy that.
I'm very much someone who prefers turn-based.
Yeah, and like I do like that, and I still want to keep doing it. I know I'll never like prefer it, but I do enjoy it. And I'm just like, but okay, like please, like I think like the Terra gimmick was really cool because like, oh, make your Pokemon a different type. Give me something cool like that.
Oh yeah,
that just gives me something different instead of just mashing the A button through the menus. You know, it's why I like the Mario RPGs, because you have the action commands, you have the time your jumps, you know, it keeps me engaged, keeps my ADHD brain engaged. Gosh, but no, great game.
Yeah,
go play it. Buy the Switch 2 version.
I don't know why. Go watch a playthrough of it if you need to be sold. But it was very
watch
good game.
my stream VODs.
Borrow it from your friend if he has a Switch 2 version and you have a Switch, and you can just steal it for a week.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joey.
Or heck, Gamefly it.
Yeah. Whatever you need to do to play it, you should.
You should.
We just shilled for $1 billion company for
$1 trillion company.
$1 trillion company for no.
Or trillion yen, but whatever.
Pokemon Company. I'll take everything back I said about Fire Red and Leaf Green. It's a great port.
Give us all the Kalos and plushies, we'll call it even.
Give me all the Alolan ones and I will say anything for you. Anyways, thanks for being here, everybody. Of course, you know the rules with this. If you know of anything that you'd like us to try and improve in future episodes, any topics you want to see, let us know in our Discord. Link to that is in our description. Also, we are on more places.
Yeah, we're on Spotify and maybe Apple Music.
We'll be there soon.
But Spotify will definitely be there. So if you want to have a more like, if you don't want to use YouTube Music's app, but you want to use a more radio app.
Yeah, if Spotify's your go-to, you have everything there, your podcast you listen to. Go ahead and find us, give us a like. But yeah, I think
Can you like stuff on Spotify?
Yeah, you can follow. Yeah.
Okay. I assume you could follow. I didn't know if like there was a like button.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't use Spotify. I use YouTube Music.
Anyways,
I'm a Google baby.
I think that's all this one. Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Oh wait. There's the plushie Pokemon Oshawott. We didn't forget the plushie this week. It's been here the whole time. You see how you can see him behind the mic? He's there the whole time.
Yep. Bye.